about one of the biggest human rights violations of this century. In 1996, there was one of the largest massacres known to man in one of the biggest prisons in Libya, known as Abu Salim. Abu Salim held a lot of prisoners more often than it can actually hold. For example, it held 1,700 prisoners for only 112 cells, proving that the prison was over-densely populated. This led to many unsanitary conditions, scarcity of food, and no medical help for those who became sick due to these problems. When the prisoners tried to talk to the guards about their unsanitary conditions, they were immediately dismissed. So, when a guard came into the cell one day, they revolted, and they tried to set themselves free. And because of this, a grenade was thrown into the courtyard, killing many of the prisoners. And then for 3 hours after, the guards continued to shoot each prisoner. This resulted in 2,000 deaths in less than 3 hours. So, who was behind this? His name is Gaddafi. He is the current leader of Libya and has been since 40 years ago, when he overthrew the king and made himself the leader. To understand the enormity of his dictatorship, you have to understand the way that he leads his country. As soon as he got into power, he abolished the Constitution and he revoked the speech of his people, meaning that anyone who dared to speak out against him or his regime was immediately killed. For this, the people of Libya are unable to show how disappointed and how much they live in fear in his country. Now I'm going to go over some of the crimes that he has committed. Please keep in mind that this is only a few of the crimes he's committed. One of the things he did was expel the large Italian population that lived in his country. He also sent out people to go kill any of his opposers. This is a big deal because most of these opposers lived not in Libya, but in countries nationwide. Somehow he got these people to go to these other countries and still find them and kill these people. He held training camps in his country for rebel groups in Africa. So when we think of the problems in Sudan and Darfur, of all the rebel groups that are killing people and committing genocides, Gaddafi is the one behind these rebel groups. He's supporting them with arms, with the skills necessary to commit these crimes. He was also a major financer of the Black September event. This is actually very well known. It was during the Summer Olympics of 1972 when a Palestinian group kidnapped and killed 11 Israeli athletes and officials. Gaddafi was also a major financer of that Black September movement. Also in April 1986, he masterminded a bombing of a German disco in which he placed a bomb under the DJ booth, killing 200 and injuring 230 people, most of them U.S. soldiers. In 2001, he was also behind the bombing of the Lockerbie flight, which killed 243 passengers and 16 crew members. This was a flight from London to New York. You might think he's done, but still 6 months later, after this event, he set off another bomb for a French airline that was flying over Chad. Two of the most recent events that he has committed in 2010, actually, is he called for jihad, which is holy war against Switzerland, because Switzerland banned the making of minarets, which is part of the mosque, which is, I guess you could say, the church of Muslims. So he called for holy war, and he said that anyone who supports Switzerland is an infidel and should be destroyed. Also, one of the most recent things he's done is called for a separation of the country of Nigeria. He says that there should be a separate Nigerian country for the Christians and one for the Muslims. So he's obviously trying to tear all these nations apart. So what this comes down to is, why is he still around? Why has he not been convicted? How come no one has spoken out against him? These are all my opinions and what I've done based on my research, but there's a few factors involved with why I think that he hasn't been convicted yet. The first one is oil. Libya is one of the largest oil reserves in the country. In the continent. And it also is Europe's biggest, largest oil reserves. So for this reason, other countries find it very hard to sanction Libya when they're so dependent on their oil reserves. For example, the United Nations sanctioned Libya for the bombings that it had done. And then Bush came and removed all these sanctions. Why? Obviously because of the oil that he needed. A few months later, the European nations followed suit and also removed all these sanctions. Once again, letting Gaddafi free of everything that he had done before. Another reason that I think he's been able to get away is because of what they call blood money. Because of all the money that he gets from these oil reserves, he has money to pay off the victims of these crimes. For example, he agreed to pay $2.7 billion to the victims of these bombings. He's already paid a full first installment, and this is an attempt to shut the victims' families up. He also is very smart because he keeps tight relations with the media. He always does constant interviews with ABC, submits articles to the New York Times, proving his point and showing his case to try to himself seem very innocent. He also, one of the biggest things he does is he tries to say that he's against terrorism, Al-Qaeda. He says that he's doing all these things to fight terrorism, when little do people know that this is the man that's behind all these terroristic attacks. For this reason, I named him Silent but Deadly, because no one really knows his name, no one knows who he is, but still he's involving himself in the deaths of thousands of people worldwide. So ladies and gentlemen, I really want you to take the time to do your research, to find out more about this man and what we can all do to help stop him, because this is just the beginning. He won't step down until we all raise our voice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.